Well, before Carter ever thought of being our 39th president, he had other goals in life.
The young boy who grew up on a peanut farm in rural Georgia would soon find out entertainment would be hard to come by. His uncle Tom Gordy, who joined the United States Navy, would send postcards from all over the globe. Carter soon became so fascinated with all the places his uncle sent cards from that he wanted to join the Navy as well.
From the time I was 5 or 6 years old, my aspirations were to go to college, and during those Depression years, the only potential colleges were West Point and Annapolis. Because they were free, I chose Annapolis.
The events of World War II encouraged many American patriots, similar to Carter, to enter and stay in the military. However, for Carter's life at home, that would soon change. During Carter's time in the Navy, he held multiple jobs aboard a handful of naval ships over the course of 7 years.
Well, I never intended to leave the Navy until I was home with my father during his final days and saw how much his life meant to planes and how significant his life was in the personal well-being of so many people.
Carter's father, Earl, died of cancer in July of 1953, leaving the decline of the family farm in danger. Carter gave it some thought and realized he needed to resign from the Navy and go back to planes to help the family. Carter was promoted to lieutenant and served for a year and 5 months before being honorably discharged upon his request.
I was on the county school board. I was its chairman. And it was only after they reconstituted the Georgia Senate in 1962 that I decided to give politics a chance.
Just like Carter did in the Navy, he dedicated his time and effort to the farm. Despite trying to do everything he could, the battle of everyday life would make things difficult for the Carter family. The South, as many knew it, was changing.
Well, I grew up in a segregated South, and I saw the ravages of racial discrimination and violation of human rights.
I say to you quite frankly that the time for racial discrimination is over.
Carter's hard work and determination on the farm and in the Georgia Senate would be the stepping stone for one of his greatest accomplishments.
My name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm running for president.
Jimmy Carter became president of the United States on the heels of the civil rights movement, taking a stance that would lead him to be considered a champion of the oppressed. His beliefs began as a child, and he held them close on his journey to leadership.
President Jimmy Carter has been known for a lot of things throughout his life, but one of the biggest issues that perhaps stands out above them all is civil rights, something that can be traced back to when he was just a boy in Georgia.
I believe you have to go back to his childhood to understand his position on civil rights.
Stephen Hockman is the director of research at the Carter Center in Atlanta. He tells us that President Carter was friends with many African Americans as a child, but one moment stands out.
President Carter, Jimmy Carter, supported that young man. He was, and he ended up being the first African American to graduate from the Naval Academy.
It was a moment that set the tone in the Deep South.
So that was probably the first time in his life that President Carter had bucked the Southern system.
When it came time to enter the political arena, Carter used his stance on civil rights that he maintained as a child, all the way to the Golden Dome in Atlanta.
When he was inaugurated, he decided to speak out on this issue. And he said, the time for racial discrimination is over.
That the time for racial discrimination is over.
That got tremendous attention nationally, not just in Georgia.
As president, Carter stayed true to his beliefs, but it was when he left office that his impact in civil rights expanded to a new realm, one that is evident at the Carter Center.
Well, I think there was a transition as president. He still was a supporter of civil rights, but he expanded this to the term human rights. And as President of the United States, he initiated a policy of supporting human rights around the world.
As we continue to celebrate former President Jimmy Carter, we take a look at his philanthropy. Although he was not the founder of Habitat for Humanity, he constantly contributed to the organization. He even created his own project within it. Next, we look at the impact he made within Habitat for Humanity and how they plan to carry out his legacy. If there's one thing former President Jimmy Carter was proud of, it's his work as a peanut farmer. And his humble beginnings have inspired many to create a dish in his honor, some right here in downtown Macon.
Before Jimmy Carter became the 39th President of the United States, he was a peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia. His humble beginnings have followed him all these years later, with creative recipes incorporating the tasty item he helped farm. And you can find 2 of these recipes at the Rookery in downtown Macon, Georgia.
We have a burger that's got peanut butter and bacon on it. We call that the Jimmy Carter burger. A lot of people like to put jelly or honey on that. And then we did a shake. We thought the burger was so popular, let's try a milkshake. So what goes better with peanut butter than banana? And we did a peanut butter and banana milkshake, and both of them are our top sellers.
Their doors opened to the public in 1976, just a year before Mr. Carter became president. And these items hit the menu around 7 years ago. So we decided to get a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to make these Jimmy classics from the guy who helped create them. First, they drop the burger on the grill and season it to perfection. Once the burger is cooked to the desired temperature, the star of the show, the peanut butter, is added, and the burger hangs out in a warmer. Now it's time to assemble the toppings. Sitting between the bun is lettuce, tomatoes, and onions. Add the peanut butter burger, topped with good old bacon.
Right on top.
Add a pickle on the side and seasoned fries, and it's ready to serve. But wait, you can't forget the peanut butter banana milkshake. With a few scoops of vanilla ice cream, some peanut butter, and a splash of milk hand-spun to perfection, you've got a thick milkshake to help wash that burger down. But you can't forget the whipped cream, a piece of bacon, and of course, the cherry on top.
You know, it's kind of got a cult following, so people travel a long way away. They love to put jelly or honey on it, and we enjoy making them.
See, if this was true, I just had to try it myself, and I would agree. If my hands weren't full, I'd give this 2 thumbs up, and I think Mr. Carter would approve. That's really good.
We've spent the last half hour looking back at the life of former President Jimmy Carter, who has passed away, our 39th president and the only president from the state of Georgia. Our coverage doesn't stop here. This is a story we'll be following in the days to come. Make sure you're connected to all of our platforms. You can find us on our website, WGXA.tv. Our smartphone app is available in your app store right now. Just search WGXA News. And we're on all social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You've been watching breaking news coverage of the passing of former President Jimmy Carter. We'll now return to your regular programming already in progress.